Yeah, it starts back there. Going back live here now.
Alright. Trying to come out more so what me back at the services come and go now.
Alright.
So when you get it, you have to stand up right there. Once you get it there, stand up there and we go with it here.
Yeah, we all
Right,
like.
so as I was saying, Mikey here from Brian Toby, I want to let her watch him. This is the gentleman responsible for getting that video together with his friends and send it out there. So douglAR Politics and another gentleman whose name I will not call at this point in time until I get permission to call his name, and other persons who are supporting in relation to this effort. Water tank, stove, bed, everybody making as small as they can a contribution towards this effort, and we want to say thank you. We want to say a special thank you. But this is where the construction reached. Later on today, the galvanized should be up, and then the rest of the PVC boards would be installed, and so on and so on. So this is day 3 of the project. Day 3 of the project. And as you could see, we already have the boards in the back. Get it there?
Mm.
We already have a fat boy. I don't know what that fat boy, I don't know the purpose of that fat boy. He looking pretty and nice there now. Right? But I don't know what's going to be happening with that fat boy. Right? That fat boy resting there. There's no fat boy going to be somewhere down inside that hole there. So that hole in the back there. And of course, we want to set up a proper bridge here. So my partner coming across. After a hard day working the land, he will be able to hold on to the railing. Right, brother? That's what I'm talking about. So this is day 3, as I said, and the galvanize on its way. So we will get that galvanize up. We have them boards to go up there. And I'm saying to you people that this gentleman needs some assistance in the back here still. He needs some assistance to pick it up. And let me explain what I mean, because sometimes when I talk, I just talk with a language for everybody to understand. So that is why you wouldn't be hearing me going into the dictionary to bring a word and then have to give you a meaning. I gave you the meaning one time so you could understand it straight. The brother in the back here will need some assistance to get not only qualified, but to get started. To get started in a position where he could take care of his 3 children. He intends to do some farming and so on, but of course we know what farming entails. It will entail some seedlings, it entails fertilizer, it entails waka, you know, a number of issues, a number of items, sorry, it entails in order for him to be sustained down in the back of Paria and Toby Trace. So we're making an effort. So feel free, whatever you could assist. And you see the negative comments, save that for somebody. Because I know the negative comments just go, you understand, what you do and what you ain't do and all that kind of thing. We ain't here for that. So instead of you comment on negative comments, go on somebody else live and text that, right? We want positivity here. We want to ensure that it have a future in the back here, especially for the 3 children that involved. Alright, so we will do what we do. We will assist as far as we could assist. And we asking you, if you could assist in any way, remember to call 316-4468 and we will ensure that things happen. Right? But this gentleman here again, I want to put him in the spotlight. I want to say thanks to Mikey, because Mikey is the man that have things operating based on what he did in relation to that video. Mikey from Paria and Toby Trace. Mikey, tell them what you want to tell them.
David Toby.
You want to say Paria and Toby. Mikey, tell them what you want to tell them, Mikey. You're live, Mikey. You will see you there.
I just want to thank everyone for helping out the family, plenty people assist me. And I want to thank everyone for helping me out for the 3 children. This man he help you out a lot. He come in every day from which part he live. I can't remember the
Palo Seco.
Yeah, Palo Seco. Yeah. This man coming on every day to make sure everything be good here. And so far we getting through. So I want to thank everybody for helping out the family for the 3 children.
As I said, there's another gentleman that we would not call his name because we haven't gotten the permission from him to call his name as yet, who is also partnering with douglAR Politics to ensure that this happens. Alright? And of course, there's some other folks that asked that the name not be mentioned live, but in due time we'll probably give you the area that these people from who assisting in many different ways. Alright, so we really want to say a special thanks to each and every one. And of course, as we always say, is that transparency is the best policy. Alright? We all stand up, we want to say that, talk quick. Come and thank them. Come and thank them right here.
Come down here, the father of the 3 children.
Yeah, let us see you.
Yeah, thanking the public here to being so kind and appreciating whatever they do for my children, and I guess I need everybody else to assist me in that way. So I moving forward with me and my children. Sorry to be disturbing so, but I guess this is how I feel inside with my children always.
Beautiful.
Okay? Thank you very much for your kind appreciation.
Thank you. Well said.
Well said.
What the lady hiding behind here? A lady hiding behind here.
All cashy, man.
Watch that.
So this is the construction here, people, in David Toby Trace.
What?
We go be posting up the picture on the live. We will take some shots from all different angles.
Take some shots on this side.
Yeah, that's it.
Hiding in the corner here.
Yeah.
She blocking the sun.
Yeah.
She blocking the sun while rain is falling.
And people, what you going on in the sky? What you going on? You didn't see those. What do you saw this? So this is the structure here, people. Inside David Toby Trace in Kunupia. Galvanized waiting to go on. Them fellas and them, They're coming just now, they say. Yeah.
Father.
Morning.
We can't stay long because I have an exam to go and do today.
Yeah, I know you have everybody had a business to do.
Yeah.
Well, I know that.
I don't want to do the exam now. Once I get through the exam, I might be in a better position to help you. So I don't want to do the exam. So I don't want to spend a little time behind it.
Victor, look here. Avid supporter, man, Miss Anne-Marie. She always watching.
Beautiful. Hi, Miss Anne-Marie. And hi, everybody else.
This is the structure here. And we're going off just now. Mahabia, morning.
Right, so this is as far as we reach with the structure here. And again, we shall thank everybody who assisted.
So we'll post up some pictures later. We'll post up some pictures later. We're coming off this live now. So people enjoy already and stay blessed.
Political leader of the United National Congress, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, my fellow speakers, good night to all our viewers out there. Tonight is about the child you see on the screen. Can I get my picture up, please? Is about this child that you see here. I want you to meet Nashik Nagasa. His 3rd birthday is going to be on the 4th of April, in the next 28 days. And as you will know, as you have seen here, every year Nakish's father, Rishi Nagasa, takes a photo very similar to this one with his son. His birthday is celebrated every week for 1 month prior to the birthday. For the next year, we will not have that photo. The mother will not have that photo. This year would be none, thanks to one person, and I am saying one person, Minister Stuart Young. And the most insane board and the most insane management team at Paria, Mr. Mustaq Mohammed, Mr. Colin Piper, Mr. Newman George, Mr. Michael Wee. And because I was directly involved from Saturday morning straight on until Monday night at 11, I can stand here today to tell the nation what went on. On Friday, when the news came, at 2 p.m., Rishi and 4 other divers what some people describe, and I cannot say if it's that or not, Delta P. And they must have been praying to God when they realized what has happened, that somebody is going to come and get them. Rishi and all the divers knew that one person got out. So we know that deep down inside, they knew that somebody was coming back for them because they were a team of certified international divers. But little did they know that on that very day, after one diver was saved, the rest of the divers that were coming for them would be forbidden to go near that pipe. And that was an instruction that was given. The one diver that went down and rescued Mr. Christopher Budram was diver Michael Kurban, the son, and may I say it again, the son of Mr. Faisal Kurban, and 8 houses away from.
Information, contact Eddie's Pharmacy at any of our 3 branches. C3 Mall, contact number 228-4990, 54 Rosha Douglas Road in Barrackpore at 654-2655, or SS Erin Road in Pinal, 647-0778, Eddie's Pharmacy Limited.
Blessed good afternoon to each and every one. Welcome to U97.5 FM douglAR Radio Hot Like Pepper. Of course, I know for a fact yesterday Koki had some electricity problems. Yes, people were texting and saying, what's happening? What's going on with the douglAR? Yeah, the douglAR standby, but no current. Yeah, it happens. So we want to welcome each and every one of you to douglAR Radio. Remember, you could also, on U97.5, correct. Remember, you can also send your number to Archie. Archie will put up a number there for you to see to get your douglAR report and a whole lot more. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it's no different. Today it's Tuesday. It's our day. It's the day that we deal with facts. We bring facts to you to help you to understand more clearly what is happening in relation to scenarios. And first on the burner, on Thursday, the 3rd of March 2022, the government announced the creation of yet another special committee, this time to investigate the preventable deaths of 4 underwater welders at Paria trading facility. And of course, you know that this committee was appointed by none other than Stuart Young, the Minister of Energy. He said to us that they had appointed Mr. Sharma as an attorney at law. They have appointed him as the chairman of the committee. They have also appointed one Mr. Wilson, who he said he's an expert in underwater diving and gas and oil and so on. And he also appointed a gentleman, and that gentleman was none other than Eugene Tia. And he appointed Eugene Tia to that board, that committee. And of course, he said that 2 other individuals would be appointed, one from Shell and one from BP. Yes. And they will carry out an independent investigation into the scenario, Corky. And that the findings, that they will bring the findings, report the findings to him. And of course, he in turn will take it to the Prime Minister, and the cabinet will get involved, and they will decide what happened from there. And of course, the leader of the opposition, together with those of us on this side, we have pointed out, Corky, that Stuart Young appointment in relation to Mr. Eugene Tia is not only a conflict of interest, but it's a serious scenario. Because when I looked at my investigation, notwithstanding that Mr. Tia is quite qualified, so to speak, I did a little research on Mr. Tia, and of course, coming out of that research, I realized that he's much, much, much more brighter than me, Corky. Yes, he holds a BSc, he holds a MSc, he is also on a few boards. He is also the executive chairman, allegedly, of the Energy and Industrial Gases BU of Massey, and so on and so on. And while I make it clear that Mr. Tia is quite a bright guy, I was also checking on his background to see how, sometimes you could be too bright for your own brain. Yes, and when I checked the bulbs, Corky, we found out that Mr. Eugene Tia, somewhere back in 2014, Mr. Tia had a serious court matter, and today I want to ask some questions. The first question I want to ask is, what was the reason, Mr. Tia, Eugene Tia, what was the reason that he was before the courts in our country? And I want to ask if it was on corruption allegation. I am asking, I am not casting any aspersion. I am asking if it is that, in fact, he was before the court, and if what he was there for, if it was a lawsuit in relation of corruption, I don't know. I am asking. But you see, when Stuart Young, what make me realize that something is wrong, Corky and Jeffrey, is when Stuarty spoke of Sharma. You know, he gave a profile. He gave a profile with Wilson. And when come to Tia, he say he is also included on the board. So I was wondering why it is Stuart Young had no profile. Why it is a bright individual that as Eugene Tia, a bright guy like that who work on with international company. I was trying to find out what was so surreptitious about this whole situation. And there it was. I found out. But before I get into that part of it, today I saw an article where Mr. Tia have since withdrew his services from this board, from this committee. Sorry, he have withdrew his services. I had an article that I cut out. I think that probably remained in the van, Corky. Yeah, an article that I took out from the newspaper. I feel that it remained in the vehicle. Let me see. Right, I have it. So here what the article say. Energy Minister Stuart Young has labeled statements made by opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar on the appointment of former Energy Chamber Chairman Eugene Tia to the state's investigative committee on the Paria diving tragedy as disgusting. That is Stuart Young's statement. Young's statement came on Tuesday afternoon on the heels of a personal statement from Tia in which Tia stated he would no longer participate in that committee. Young stated he was informed by Energy Chamber that Tia had stepped down as the Chamber's nominee to the committee. Minister Young has taken careful note of the personal attack by the leader of the opposition, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, on the Energy Chamber nominee, as well as on international multinational energy companies BP and Shell. These personal, unwarranted and unjustified attacks on independent persons and international independent entities is disturbing and destructive to our country interests, a release from Young office said. Hold up right there. You see, here where my problem does come in. My problem does come in when Stuart Young and members of this government believe that the people in the public domain are stupid, uneducated people. My problem does come in when Stuart Young and them believe that they could hoodwink the country with the nonsense that they continue to perpetrate against the citizenry of this country. Stuart Young, while you are now saying that Kamla Persad-Bissessar, while you are saying that her personal attacks is unwarranted and it's detriment to the country, Stuart, I want to tell you, the most detriment thing to Trinidad and Tobago is that PNM government in which you are a part of. Because Stuart Young, let me tell you how all you, I doesn't want to say them words, you know, but how all you as individual believe that people stupid in this country. I want to ask you, Stuart Young, in 2014, you as an attorney, did you represent Mr. Tia in a high court matter?
And what was the nature of that High Court matter? A matter of fact, it was you and Commoner Rowley partner, the one that earlier appoint to the hem of heritage. It was you and him that had to represent Tia in this matter. So before you appointed Tia to this board, you fully well know that not only you had a client-attorney relationship, but you know for a fact that Mr. Tia had serious questions to answer. So don't come now and talk about the opposition and the opposition leader. The opposition leader continue to do her job. The opposition leader job is to ensure that when the government appoint, whether it be a committee or anybody to state board like Newman George, who held 4 positions, it is Kamala Persad Bissessa prerogative to bring it to the public domain to ensure transparency comes across the board. Stuart Young, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Stuart Young. I, as an individual, have none, not any at all, respect for you, Alwari, Rowley, and the whole team that sits in our parliament. None whatsoever. None. You know why? Because I have seen that a government who take the Bible, the Quran, and the Bhagavad Gita respectively and swear an oath to uphold the Constitution and the law, to do things without partiality, to do things with fairness. And when I have seen the behavior of this government, who all of them took one of these books and swear, and when you see the conduct and behavior of this government, you know for a fact that these guys will lie not only on a religious book, but they will lie on anybody, on anything who gets in their way to interfere with their financial status. That is how real this thing is. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this same man that Stuart Young appointed back in 2014, Stuart Young and Commoner represented him in the courts, in a court, in a jurisdiction in Trinidad and Tobago. And therefore, Stuart Young know for a fact what he was doing. You see, the government, every time the government appoints a committee or a board to investigate or to look after or to find the truth in any given circumstance, they always appoint one of their own to cover the dirty tracks that they continue to perpetrate against us. Every time the government interfere with any independent institution in this country, we have a first-hand knowledge as to what goes on. And if you don't believe me, look at the independency of the presidency. Look at the independency of the judiciary. Look at the independency of the police service commission. Look at the independency of the commissioner of police office. Look at the independency with these so-called independent senators. Look at the independency in relation to the Speaker of the House, who ought to be the judge who ought to blow the whistle when either side foul and give a penalty to ensure justice comes to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. What they do instead is to protect their own. That is what they do. When you look at every board, when you look at every institution, there is an implant by the PNM in a strategic position to cover the faults, to cover the corruption, to cover the blatant attack on democracy. That is what happened with this government. Every aspect of any independent institution in this country, they compromise it. Everyone. There is no excuse. You see, I keep asking, we have a situation where 4 citizens die. Right, Corky? Yes. 4 citizens. Coming out of that, the police service have a responsibility with this situation. Once you have death by any form of accident or negligence, the police service, they are charged with a responsibility to investigate the loss of life, Corky. Yes. You hear what I'm telling you, Corky? They have a responsibility, whether it is an accident, a carnage on the road, whether it's on a job site, whether it's on wherever, Corky. If your elderly grandparents die at home, the first thing that you ought to do, Corky, is to notify the police. The police have a responsibility whenever death occur, whether it be by accident or otherwise. What should have happened, Corky, is that the commissioner of police should have been given the necessary resources to launch that kind of independent investigation, a forensic independent investigation, where the commissioner will source the necessary expertise, persons who are charged with certain expertise, qualified individual, to work alongside the investigative team or the investigative arm of the police service, where they would have got down to the bottom of what really happened on that fateful day, Corky. This have no right to be. Any government interfere investigative team. This have no right to be, Corky. Any handpick. This is not an oil spill that we want to get down to the source. This is not some kind of sabotage with some piece of equipment. This is people's lives. And therefore, the police service, they are charged with the responsibility to investigate and to conduct a thorough investigation into what occurred on that fateful day, where they would be able to bring charges against any, if necessary, where they can prosecute, if there are any that they found culpable of any form of negligence, sabotage, or willful action. The police will have the authority to prefer charges against individuals. You see, when you send this 4 or 5 man investigative team, Jeffrey, they are there without any form of cover, in the sense that they cannot recommend any kind of prosecution against anybody. They will go, as a matter of fact, contaminate the scene. they report together and send it to Stuart Young, who will then have the authority to vet or to do otherwise. Whether it means to pull the sheet, pull the carpet, or raise the mattress. And all the big and all the sense, all they know exactly what I'm saying. When you submit your findings to a minister, a politician, when you submit your findings to a politician, and that politician, in order, if it is a case where this state-owned company must be held accountable, if it's negligence on the part of Paria, when you submit a report to the line minister who have the responsibility for that entity, what do you expect will happen based on what we have seen with Delcy Rodriguez, what we have seen with the procurement of the Cutlass vessels, what we have seen in relation to the port in Port of Spain, and a number of other serious allegations that continue to hang over the head of every one of these government ministers. Yeah. Everyone. Yeah. Everyone. Because the old people say, it's either you're with me or you're against me, Jeffrey. Yeah. And if you're not speaking out against the corruption in your party, then you are part of the problem. Yes, very true. And that is why I'm saying that Rowley cannot step in Kamala boots. No day. Every time an allegation surface within the Kamala-led government, those people were sent home to clear their names. That is what it was. But we have seen so much blatant lies from the Prime Minister come right down the chain. Lie like Lily, lie and more lie. And you would expect that a committee appointed by the politician to look into serious misconduct or serious allegation, you believe that this would ever surface with justice when you have seen in the beginning Stuart Young appoint a man who he know, who he represent in the court, appoint him to that committee, whether he withdraw or not. The first problem is that he have no right to be appointed, and that is to tell you the integrity of those who appoint people to board in this country. When the politicians have no integrity, it is a case, ladies and gentlemen, where you, the people in the country, have to stand up and remove these politicians. Let me tell you something. Well, let me get hot here now. Let me tell you something. I will continue to maintain politicians must be, have to be above board. Politicians must have integrity. And if politicians do not have integrity, ladies and gentlemen, then what in God's name they are doing administrating in this country? Welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr. Robert Corky and Mr. Jeffries, if he's there.
Welcome, caller.
All right. You see what you're talking about there? Them fellas have no integrity. But listen to this. And I want to direct this, Small Penner.
Yeah.
I am listening to him, and I'm seeing a newspaper article where he criticizing the opposition leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Misesa, saying the behavior is disgusted.
Yes, I have it right in front of me.
Right. I want to ask him a couple of questions. Was behavior of Paria corporate behavior, or was it disgusting behavior when they left the family of the 4 divers in a shed outside. What kind of behavior that is? Was the behavior of the press when she flouted the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. What kind of behavior was that? Was that disgusting, or that was normal behavior on the PNM side? The third issue, you know, it had a fella in the Senate called Vera. When he brought the appeal court judges into the political guile, behavior that was? That was normal behavior or the disgusting behavior? Huh. And you, small pin, what kind of behavior that you, John, Asher, and yourself basically got involved in? What kind of behavior that is? I say no more, and I want to wish all women a happy Women's International, and I want to pay special attention to the women who have to move this country out of this mess. And one of the women who the PNM abused since Thy Kingdom Come in O'Halloran memoirs, Jean Miles, she basically stood up for women, and you know what the PNM did? They basically ridiculed her, insulted her. That is a black mark on this country against women. And we have a vaccine, we're going to pimping in the street, women just like that. Go on, have a...
And of course, Corky, I did it on Facebook, but we echo the sentiment of the caller, wishing all women a happy Women's Day as we continue. But back to the point.
Yes.
Back to the point. You see, when we allow politicians to conduct themselves as the way in which these politicians now conducting themselves, Corky, what example are we setting for the future generation in this country? Welcome, caller.
Good afternoon, Corky. Good afternoon, Robert and Jeff.
Yeah, good evening.
How are you all this evening?
Very much fine, sir.
And all the best to all women, international women.
Mm-hmm.
Including the women and them who looking at man with the PNM. With this Delcy Rodriguez thing, these people have shame when they come in here and they say they didn't know the flight and the place back, all them kind of thing. And the line, they come and they tell you now, Stuart Young brother and them had a little company, some hungry change they have now, they could buy out part of Trinidad.
Of course.
You understand? And another thing, I have 2 points again to make. I will get the last point last. But it's supposed to be last.
Go ahead.
The daughter, the stepdaughter, right? You ain't hearing nothing about her. She out in the country or out of the country?
Well, the last thing I heard, she was out of the country. I don't know what is the status now.
And you're on bail? Well, it had 2 kind of bail, and one that has grown a tree too.
Well, better is one law for you and me and the next law for them. You know?
That's right. And another thing too, if lying was a laxative, you'd have to use a backhoe to drive the road, you know. But my final point, that for that is a sacrifice. This is my take. This is my belief, because they're evil. And they will do anything to cover their track. Remember?
Yeah.
Martin Joseph was a big swimmer.
Of course.
And he and Rowley was in the sea together, and he drowned in Uncle High water.
Well, so, strange things are happening.
Well, yes, and you had to come, So you had to bat in your crease and beg God for the guidance, because the evil, the corrupted, every one of them. Every one of them. Have a good evening.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well said. Cookie is a real sad situation in this country. Welcome, caller.
Good night. Good night to everyone.
Yes, sir. Good night.
You put me, sir. Anyway.
Well, you just can't stay too long.
All right. Okay. Number one, with Rowley, right? The situation with Russia, whereby the NATO and them want to the oil, the gas line and the oil. They need to talk to Rowley. He knows to shut down everything and do make nothing work. You understand? So let them call Rowley. Rowley go and shut it down for them like how we shut down petroleum and don't make nothing work. You see the price of oil? $124 a barrel. You understand? The other thing too is that we had to ensure, as the last caller was saying, what is the situation with Stuart Young's daughter, how she can leave the country? What is the situation with Alwari Chiren, with the man who allegedly shot himself and went and sat down on a chair and hid the gun where nobody could find it and went and sat down on a chair. What is the situation with that man? Alwari is supposed to be under murder charge for that, allegedly under murder charge for that. You understand? The man who exposed the children and them. We had so much issues to deal with in this last election, and they were just driving around with trucks playing vote UNC, vote UNC, vote UNC. As the cascade caller said, give us mics, send us out on the road, have us pong in the streets, because they bought out all the TV stations. They bought out all the TV stations, and we did nothing. Look, last week, Anil had a very good program where he explained a lot of the ills that they were talking about, right? He signed all his posts when they accused him. The Beatum Wastewater Project, all these things, we need to get the information out. Scale caller, he is campaigning just like all of us. We campaigning on the ground. We working on the ground right now. They done working already, you know. You understand? You see, Aisha Wells calling in Andy William program every morning, you understand? To tell him it's good for him, where she thought they had sink him, you understand? We have to wake up, and we have to organize ourselves. Anita Haynes and so on. We have brilliant people. Get a team, right? Form a team, formulate certain things. Anyway, these are things really I need to talk off the air. You understand? But I can fighting. We're not fighting right now. You understand? We're not in the correct mode we're supposed to be in, and we're not where we're supposed to be right now.
Thank you, caller.
Right? Take care and all the best.
Thank you.
Yes.
Everything is on. Welcome,
Yes,
caller.
man, it's Silver Fox in.
Fox.
Silver Fox here.
Yeah, go ahead, Silver Fox.
Now, I want to ask Trinidad, what more can we take before we get rid of Rowley? What more we will take from Rowley before we stand up for our rights? What more? Just imagine, we have a minister of health. Every day, this 3 dying, 10 dying, 15 dying, and everybody just sitting down and watch. We have a government that don't care about us. They will leave here and go away and you don't know. We have a government will sell out everything and just leave the country at 2 o'clock in the morning early, and when we get up we have nothing in this country no more. When we will stand up? When we will stand up? I have the remedy to get Keith Christopher out of office.
Get with
right? Listen to me. First thing, before I say that, we have 4 dead men died in the sea. And we have a police officer named, well, let us say Jacob, but I just say name Rowley. Right? His name is not Jacob, he's Rowley. We policemen, like we don't, if you're dead in the sea, we do business with that. It's a border to see about that. If you're dead on land, the police can see about that. Once it's in the sea, no police. Right? I want to know what is happening. Let me say to Trinidad and Tobago right now. We have councillors, we have MPs, we have people who like you, Robert, right? We have people like you, and what I want is all activists like yourself in every single place that have MPs, or look gather about 200 to 300 people and go to that office every morning and call on them for election. Call on them, you want election now. We hungry, we want election now. And they will have to give in to you all. Don't go on the road. Go in their compound by the office with 200-300 people. And I will tell you this. That will flow like hot bread because other villages will take it over. And Rowley will have no choice than to call election. Because if we wait too long, we will not have nothing to fight for in this country. Rowley decided to sell out everything and go his way. What you want? Rowley locked down the beach. Nobody talk. Just imagine Rowley is God. Good thing Rowley can't lock off the sun and the rain and the breeze. Because all are really dead. This man has to be stopped. And we have to stop him by going to our MP's office and crying out, we want election and we want it now. Robert, let me say something to you. You're a strong man in the country. When you throw one stone, it does give bad feeling to all wicked men. And I will tell you this, Robert. You is the person to lead us out of this. I don't see anybody else. Because when I understand it, when you say, precious Lord, take my hand, it's precious Lord, take Victor's hand and lead us from this wicked man called Rowley and the evil that is over our land. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Right, so let me take this call. We'll go for the break for the top of the hour, and then we have an attorney will come in. So take this one. Welcome, caller.
Good night, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Good night to the listeners as well, too. I want to send my warmest heartfelt to our country and the world at large. It warmly. And I want to bring across some of the little things we say, the little things we do. It impacts the lives of people with a smile in a positive way. Give me a minute. I just want to deliver something. The theme of this, the truth will always prevail. There are more questions than answers. Is there any answers to the distresses we are facing? I'm an oil mixer. I'm a gas magnate. I live to always be among the big. Your ideals doesn't worth planting a twig. You seek to elevate yourself, forgetting all of us. You seek the epiphany of glory. You never told your people the real story.
Yeah, hello? Yeah, like we lost our day. Right, so let's go for the break, and when we come back, we will get in contact. Take this one. Hello, welcome, caller.
Good evening, Doctor. Good evening, Cocky.
Yeah, we know that's to go. We know that has to go for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. But I know only have 2 minutes, but I'm coming out all guns blazing. I want to say happy International Women's Day to all ladies, especially Mrs. Kamala Prasad. I bow to you, senior counsel. She had was to put that good poof in their backside yesterday in Monday Night Forum. And as soon as you see Mr. Tia come out, he fight, you look the boss out. I don't even put the sugar again, the boss out. Anyway, straight to the point. As Mr. Stuart Young, now let me remember Stuart Young and our brilliant Prime Minister went to Houston, and and when they come back with a new gas price, NGC record a loss for the first time in its history. So if anybody had to talk about disgusting, then Stuart Young need a mirror. But like when you come back from Houston, like a bamboo stick in the bottom, boy, like I mean, a bamboo break, like because like regarding the NGC, I had to be careful. There was a government, the government set up a committee to evaluate the Nico explosion, right? Anything have happened to that committee?
Not yet, it's still waiting.
Nope, still waiting. A government set up a committee to evaluate a roadmap to recovery for the COVID. Anything yet?
Still waiting.
And right, a government set up a committee to evaluate the Mosquito Creek or the crack. Anything on the report?
Still waiting.
Still waiting. Anything on the 12-hour blackout?
Nothing.
The FUL audit.
But that is only games for this government.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. Sergeant only playing games, boy. Because, like, I remember too, right? He was the same man who say he was negotiating to save Train 1 on X, Y, and Z. and Kenneth Allen and Saul Bagison, two patriots of our country who stood up to Stuart Young and Mark Lukwan and said, here what's going on? It's no gas, there's no sense we invest in this thing. And they were ousted. Now, I want to tell Stuart Young that karma is a funny thing, eh? We see you ousting men on a GC board for standing up for the right thing. Just only people have turned out to be will oust you too, you know. Yeah, man, good night.
Yeah, good night. Bless you. Yeah. Call back.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 97.5 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners. My parents' generation grew up with Royal Castle. From the first restaurant in 1968, when that distinctive, tempting aroma hit the air, they just couldn't resist. And like never before, fried chicken with a special blend of local seasonings and a one-of-a-kind flavor down to the bone. Today, Royal Castle still have that same delicious taste, and I love it too. The kids can't resist it either. Plus, they have more to enjoy. For me, the Castle is more than just nice food. It's we own, part of me and you, and is the real flavor of TNT.
Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica. Le Grand Coulance Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. Le Grand Coulance Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
Sport is in trouble. What can be done to save sports in TNT? Join host Gordon Pear on Sports Insight every Monday and Wednesday on MCTV from 4:30 p.m. as he identifies the problems, look for solutions, and points the way forward. Sports Insight, where we talk to the coaches, athletes, administrators, and of course, you, the fans, as we bring positive change through sport.
Eddie's Pharmacy Limited, we have a selection of all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs to complement your wellness. Every product we carry is vetted and approved by our pharmacists who will be happy to assist you. With branches at C3 Mall inside JTA Supermarket, 1135 SS Erin Road in Pinal, and 54 Rocha Douglas Road in Barrackpore. We offer services such as blood pressure testing, blood sugar testing, cholesterol testing, and also offer a wide variety of pregnancy test kits. We accept most major health insurances. For further information, contact Eddie's Pharmacy at any of our 3 branches. C3 Mall, contact number 228-4990, 54 Rocha Douglas Road in Barrackpore at 654-2655 or SS Erin Road in Pinal 647-0778. Eddie's Pharmacy Limited.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Blackrock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Blackrock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Join me, Anthony Jules, on Late Nights with Jules, only on MCTV. New guests every week, activity, games, hot topics, a lot of discussions. You don't want to miss it. Tune in and join me only on MCTV, 9 p.m. Trust me, you don't want business.
Calling every human.
The Local Palooza Show and Countdown. Now showing on MCTV. Hosted by TNT's rock ambassador, Bees Hi-Fi, the Metal Merchant. See and hear all your favorite local rock bands. Keep it rock alive. Rhythms Communications Network. Local Palooza Show and Countdown on MCTV. The Local Palooza Show and Countdown. Now showing on MCTV.
Welcome back to U97.5 Hot Like Pepper douglAR Radio. At this time on the phone line, we have the pleasure of a brilliant attorney at law joining us on the phone lines on this radio station. And I want to tell the listening public that we have none other than Brian Bain on the line. Attorney, good night to you. Welcome to U97.5. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, good night, Victor. Good night to the indomitable Corky. How are you all this evening? And let me say a pleasant good night to your listeners and your viewing audience. Also, let me say to wish a happy International Women's Day to all women of Trinidad and Tobago. I just left a very successful International Women's Day function hosted by the Member of Parliament for Komoto Manzo, Dr. Rai Ragvir. It was excellent. So, pleasant good night, Victor, my brother.
Yes, sir.
My brother in the struggle.
In the struggle. So today, my brother, we were looking at the situation in Paria where a board was appointed by the Minister of Energy. And coming out of that board, we also had a gentleman by the name of Eugene, who was also appointed on that board. Well, today there was a briefing where he has since withdrew his services from that board. That's Eugene Tia. And we were looking at why was Mr. Tia appointed in the first place when the minister must have known that during 2014, it is also alleged that the minister himself, Stuart Young, together with Michael Kwamena, who is the head of Trinidad Holdings, we are saying that Mr. Young must have known. And what was the real intention of appointing that individual to the board? Is it, and this is speculation now, is it because there may very well be something to hide coming out of this investigation, as Mr. Young put it? And why that 5-member committee to investigate when we have 4 people die and the police service have an obligation where death, as far as death is concerned, that they are the ones ought to be conducting that kind of forensic investigation, seeking, or the government should at least outfit or give the police service the necessary resources to get the specialists and so on board and have that investigation from the police service standpoint in relation to why these 4 citizens lose their life. What is your take on that?
Well, first of all, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service will not get involved at this point in time, as this type of investigations will not warrant the police at this time, right? However, it is a committee that was put together to do an investigation into this national tragedy. And again, my condolences goes out to the family. I know a few of them. This again, it is a national tragedy. Now, this committee that was put together. Now, no one has ever questioned what is the qualifications of Mr. Paria. No one has ever questioned that he is not qualified. However, we must understand the parameter of this situation. In that, you have an investigation into this act that has happened. You have a gentleman who has some form of links to the minister who would have overseen and these appointments. The argument that we'll put together is that there could be some form of conflict of interest. We must understand Trinidad and Tobago's culture. Victor Roberts, I know you. And I'm putting together a committee to investigate something. And I put you. What is stopping me from calling you and say, Victor, I hear something come up on this side. Say what going on. Only don't do nothing there. Right? What is stopping that? I'm not saying that will not happen, or neither will I say that will happen. But again, we must understand that everything possible to ensure that this investigation is done proper, fair, and also is free from all tentacles of anyone of influence. We must ensure that, because this is a national tragedy. We are hearing for all personal accounts of persons who would have been there of all the things that happened. And this is why I'm happy that this family went down that legal route as well by bringing in attorneys such as Mr. Prakash Ramada. I agree with Mr. Ramada in that we must ensure that all preservation of evidence are kept proper. Because you must understand, we must get to the bottom of this. Because Paria has questions to answer. Because these men didn't just go to do a casual swim.
Right.
If you understand where I'm coming from. Right? These men didn't go and look for lobster. They didn't go and look for conch. These men went to do a job, which was under the ambit of Paria, through their company. Right? And then for Paria, the things that we heard that came out of this, from listening from the accounts of the young man who went to save his own father, and then to say that he was prevented. And then we had a lot of organizations involved in this. We heard the Coast Guard was involved. Why was the Coast Guard there? I have no idea. Do they have the local standards there? Did they even have the necessary equipment as Coast Guard to be there? We don't know. So this investigation is key. It is also important. All right? And we must know that in Trinidad and Tobago, this type of tragedy must never, ever happen again. Right? Right?
But in relation... Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, go ahead.
Right. But in relation to the appointment of these individuals.
But with Mr. Taria, okay, so then let's look at again with Mr. Taria, right? Mr. Taria was said to be represented by the Minister of Energy in a legal matter. Mr. Michael Common, I understand, is also in that matter.
Right.
Last time I checked, he's also the Prime Minister he's the lawyer of the Prime Minister. He also serves on Energy Board. So again, these questions, when they rise, we have to understand that these things must not happen. These questions must never come about. And because of that, Mr. Taria had to remove himself. Because it ensures that the integrity of these investigations must be kept. And the fact that he stepped down, Mr. Taria, we thank you for stepping down, sir. Because at least you show you are a man of integrity. Because you must understand, this has nothing to do with who wants to give public service. But you must understand the entity that is called the People's National Movement.
Right.
Right? We must know that. So, I mean, we have to also see that this committee that was put together, we have to hope that this committee does their job properly. And I want to even go further with these so-called committees that this government keeps setting up. The best committee is the Committee of the Parliament. As a former senator, I agree that the committees of the Parliament should be used. And there is a committee called the Energy Committee of Parliament. If I'm not mistaken, it was chaired by Mr. Carmen Burt. And the leader of the opposition, Ms. Kamala Prasad, has indicated that we should go down that route. And I support her on that decision.
These committees, what legal basis, one, would these committee have if coming out of their findings, one, and two, would this committee be in a position to make recommendations if, let's say, some form of negligence were found? Would this committee have the authority to recommend any sort of whether it be disciplinary action or any sort of prosecution against those who may very well be culpable in this scenario?
The committee may have some powers. I have not seen all of the powers of the committee as yet. They may have some powers to make recommendations if persons are seen as culpable. They may be able to make recommendations as to who should be held liable, if it is possible. Again, I did not see the terms of reference as to where they are set up, because apparently it's very hard to find. The only thing I saw from what it was looked to try in some way to try and not make Paria look bad, from what I was. But outside of that, whatever comes out of that committee, if persons are seen as negligent, right, the families who has already taken legal counsel, they will definitely act upon it. The Parliament as well, that committee, they may look to see where they can go at. But we must also understand that we don't know what is the proper structure of this committee, because the country is not being told everything.
Right.
Right. I mean, however, I must say I do have all faith in the chair of the committee, Mr. Shah. He's a very experienced attorney at law. Right. And I think that he will be a very good chair of the committee.
But who will have the responsibility to preserve whatever evidence is gathered by this committee?
Well, the committee, obviously, they would have persons to assist them. They must have a secretary to the committee. They must also have a proper secretariat to ensure all minutes of these meetings are kept properly. They will also have to ensure through that committee that every form of document is kept safe and sound. They have to do that. That must happen.
All right. And in terms of if we could call it the crime scene, who will be charged with that responsibility also to preserve that particular area? I mean, when you look at this committee who will come in there and they will do the thing based on what stretch they have and so on and so on and so on. But if going forward it warrants a police investigation, wouldn't there be some form of contamination in relation to...
Well, no. You see, we have to look at it a different way. Again, the TTPS will not get involved at this time yet, right? Because there is no form of investigation at that level for that. However, what they will do, it is still under the ambit of Paria. They would have to ensure that is there. That I understand they had shut down the whole area, so I was told. I'm open to be corrected with that. But to say the police investigation, I don't see that happening just yet. I'm open to be corrected with that one.
Right, but okay, good. I understand, because I was just going to draw a reference where at one time when I was working in the Pointe-à-Pierre area refurbishing a bungalow, I remember that not too far a guy fell off a scaffold and by a tank and lose his life. And I know, matter of fact, there was an immediate police investigation. So I was kind of trying to compare that scenario with this scenario and trying to see the difference really.
But the scenarios would be totally different. It will be. right? Because of the fact that these were men who were answered to deal with a pipe, and then there was that incident happen, right? So it's going to be a little different under that. You know, we have to look at the issue if you want to talk about if it goes into the issue of criminal negligence, right? If it goes into criminal negligence, then that is where you may have the warranted of a police investigation. So that might be where the police will come in.
Right, but would there also be something of that relates to duty of care?
Yes, well, the duty of care comes in under the ambit of law, right? As in under civil tort, yes, there will be a duty of care, and the first person who had to ensure a duty of care was the Paria company. They had a duty of care to these fellas, and I am of the honest belief that they breached that duty of care by not acting immediately. That is my view on it. I think that Paria has a lot of questions to answer, and in this investigation, they must answer all questions. They must not be scared at all.
Because if we are to go with what is now coming out of the autopsies in this situation, then it shows that there was some kind of period of time where some kind of rescue operation could have take place.
Well, again, hearing from the son of the gentleman,
yeah,
indicated that there was
that window,
time, right? There was that window. Again, we haven't understand that people were prevented from going. And the question to ask again is why? Again, yes, fine, have the investigation. Have it. I will not say anything to prejudice it. But what I will say is that in that investigation, Paria must come and answer questions. They must come. Because they have a lot to answer in this matter. They do.
Beautiful.
It is, again, a very sad thing that has happened. It is a national tragedy. And it must never, ever happen again. I am very happy that good sense prevailed with Mr. Paria and that he removed himself. I mean, at least the man shows that he has some integrity.
Good. Another question, just slightly away. Did you get an opportunity to read Stuart Young's response to the withdrawal of this individual?
No, I haven't, but I am sure you're going to tell me.
So let me just read a little bit here for you. It says, Energy Minister Stuart Young has labeled statements made by opposition leader Kamla Prasad Bisesa on the appointment of former Energy Chamber Chairman Eugene Tia to the state's investigative committee on the Paria diving tragedy as discussed. Young's statement came on Tuesday afternoon on the heels of a personal statement from Tia in which Tia stated he would no longer participate in the committee. Young stated he was informed by Energy Chamber that Tia had stepped down as the chamber nominee to the committee. Minister Young has taken careful note of the personal attacks by the leader of the opposition, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, on the Energy Chamber nominee as well as the international multinational energy company BP and Shell. These personal and unwarranted and unjustified attacks on independent persons and international independent entities is this, well, in other words, what he's saying, it's disturbing and destructive to the country's interests, a release said from Mr. Young. So what?
Well, nothing else that minister says surprises me. Right. I mean, at the end of the day, Minister Stuart Young, he should have come out first and said, well, yes, he was the man's lawyer, right? Because by a court document, you could have seen that, right? But nonetheless, no one attacked the man. The leader of the opposition never attacked him. Mr. Tia or Taria, if I'm pronouncing his name, Paul. I'm so sorry. But the leader of the opposition is entitled to speak on this matter. And she is quite correct in this matter, that there is a conflict of interest. At the end of the day, the energy chamber, I'm sure there are many other persons who could be in that. The energy chamber who is now running all of a sudden to help, to be a part of this, when this tragedy was happening, the same energy chamber, he didn't have anyone to jump out and say, hey, let's go do this. Hey, this is what has to be done. Oh, hey, you're not doing it right. Send someone there. But now you're coming. Now you're running. You now look to lift a finger. and so it is ridiculous, far-fetched that a minister will come and say that. First of all, we have a minister who doesn't know anything in energy. But he basically said he stated, I have no expertise in this.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Young, as far as I'm concerned, sir, you should have resigned in the morning of this tragedy. Because you clearly failed those 4 divers, you failed the energy sector, and you failed the people. And I will say that the leader of the opposition is quite correct. I support her 100% in this matter. And I just want to say, before I go, we must also look at the human side of this victor. Let's look at it from the human side. You could see families was in a little shed. You have families in a shed. You telling nobody Paria can put up a tent? You tell me Paria can put them in one of those little huts that Petrotrin used to have? You couldn't do that. You couldn't put a bottle of water for these people. But instead the police was called to move them on many occasions. On many occasions the police was brought down there. I mean, again, we must look at the human side and everything as well.
Correct.
And I must commend all the persons who was there to help these families. I want to commend as well the MPs who was there, the MP David Lee. I mean, he really did well. MP Dennis Rambali. These guys who have been showing where everything is being done poorly. And I mean, I was close with this. Had there been Petrotrin, and what we know Petrotrin to be, would this tragedy have happened? Because I can tell you, I have seen how Petrotrin used to handle crisis situations.
Yeah.
So the question to ask is, had Petrotrin been what Petrotrin was, would these 4 men have been saved? Victor, I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yes, of course, Councillor. As usual, you on top of the game, and you even share some light in relation to some things that I was also looking at. And we do appreciate, and I know your willingness to assist every time, anytime, and your willingness to even assist me going forward in my quest to understand law a little bit more.
Well, I want to congratulate you. I know you just not too long received an award yourself in leading up to your legal start.
Yeah.
And I know one day I will see you walk the 12 steps of the Hall of Justice, donning your robes and being admitted to the bar.
Well, I walked 7 steps already so far, and I think you was with me, and you had to come and represent me.
No problem, my brother.
So,
Stay safe.
Yeah, so we do appreciate it, and thanks, and may you have a blessed night and remain safe. And remember to give that young charming wife of yours some good blessings for today, International Women's Day, because you know Ramco say under every good pot is his gas, but behind every good man is always a good woman. So stay blessed, stay strong. Love in the house.
Take care, my brother. Stay safe. Take care, Trinidad. Happy International Women's Day, and a special Happy International Women's Day to the.
Thank you, sir. Right, so there you had it. Attorney at law Brian Bain, who helped us to understand a little bit more the synopsis in this whole situation. Welcome, caller.
Hi.
It sound like Miss Hi,
Santa
good night.
Cruz.
I'm going to say it sound like Miss Santa Cruz, but I only hear the hi, but I'm waiting for the rest.
Good evening, Victor, Mr. Jeffries, Koki, and to everybody out here.
Good day, ma'am.
I want to tell Brian you have started climbing those steps already. It's only a few more to go. It's only a few more. Mr. Victor.
Yes, ma'am.
Power of the people. you see the power of the people, because since yesterday morning I got on the ground report, and the first contribution was Eugene Tia must go. He has to go, because that was so. I don't care what Stuart Young talk about who disturbing the psyche of the country. He forget when they recused themselves 216 times for billions of dollars in contracts for their friends and family. They didn't disturb the psyche. No, it's Mrs. Prasad Bisesa by raising an issue concerning this tragic situation. You understand? And I am glad that he has left. And I am going to say to anybody, and we will keep up the mantra with PNM must go as well, you understand?
Of course.
And anybody who we are feeling uncomfortable with, they have to go. That man, in the first place, he should not have accepted the appointment. And today I also wanted to say to Sat Sharma's son, you, like Brian Manning, have no shame. After what the PNM did to your father, you understand? That is you go now to sit on a committee belonging to them. No.
Wow.
Now, my next point is I want to tell Paria, stop the lies. It's better all you hush than all you opening all your mouth and removing all doubt. We all heard, and I want to also compliment Mr. MP Rambley Benjamin, I think that's her name, right, for raising those issues last night on that virtual. They were all good, They were all good, but to see how MP Rambley, he went through those press release bit by bit and exposed everything. And it's the only reason that Paria came out and talking so much nonsense. They're trying to cover themselves now. Is because of the company came after them now. You understand? And I want to tell the company and the family, stand all their grounds and push back against Paria, because what was done, it can't be raised, Mr. Roberts.
Of course.
It cannot be raised. And before I leave, I want to tell all the naysayers, especially when they'll ever sleep, all there was vexed when come out the incident with the Coast Guard and the child. How are you feeling now to see what they did the boat from Grenada? How are you feeling now to see what they did the family when they were trying to go back down, that young man and his uncle, to go back down to find the father? How are you feeling? Because the Coast Guard, they were there training their guns on them. How are you feel now? Take that and put it on the pipe now and smoke it. Take care and have a good evening.
Thank you, Miss Santa Cruz. Thank you very much for your contribution. Last night I missed the virtual cookie. I had an exam last night. Welcome, caller.
Gentlemen, I got caught. I don't know what I know the internet giving problem, but I just about half a minute, right? This man, he seeks to elevate himself, forgetting all of us. You seek the epiphany of glory. You never told your people the real story. Lies and deceit, your mind is filled. Only acrimony and deception, many a thrill. I do like looking good in representation. I struggle for that, deceiving a nation. Great power was my sole intention. They could cry and bawl how much they want. They label accusations against me very don't. I'm seeking revenge. I'll deny them their basic rights. I'll keep them in darkness, away from the light.
Hello. Good night. Hello?
We hearing you.
Yeah, this is Cascadia.
Well, I'm going to tell you that.
Yes, man. Blessings unto you all.
Yes, Cascade, man. Love in the house.
Yeah, man. I want to wake up something with this Mr. Small Pin. I want to wake up something with Small Pin.
Wake it up,
These people break. You hear? Workmen compensation. You see that act? That is where them fellas and them disobey and send on them fellas and them without the proper equipment. That is why Small Pin and them breaks in now. But I tell you again, You see the man who went down and saved the man, and the one who survived.
Yeah.
These people have to be protected, because they have something to get evidence out the way, and these are the two people with to spill the milk. You see the milk that the disobedient cow kicking down?
Mm-hmm.
This is the two men with to save that,
Yeah.
But again, I want to tell Mr. Stuart Young, Mr. Junior Jackie, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead,
Mr.
Cascade, go ahead.
Stuart Young, Junior Jackie, showing Jones, these fellas and them had to answer for the money from Julian Trace, because I going back to the URP, where there is evidence that a work was started on they have a roster. They can't get rid of the roster because the roster carry the time, the date, everything that a project was started in Julian Trace. Where is that money? Where Mr. Draper and Mr. Alam started that road? We want to know that Junior Jackie and Mr. Stuart Young, Gloria McIntosh, you is a for the and you don't like me, but you are in casket and meet me, and I want you to answer where the money for Julian Tree is gone. If all you feel all you get away with that, I come in dog and mash the gun for all you. Thank you.
Thank you, Cascade. Good day? Ah. Right, go on. Like you missed it.
Yes, I'll come.
Right, so you missed that call. Right, so Trinidad and Tobago, so much at hand, so much mismanagement, so much nepotism, so much cronyism, so much ism, schism, so much with this government that it's a shame that today in this country we are at this junction when nothing seems to be working, when no light shining to the end of the tunnel. We are at a place, ladies and gentlemen, a place that spells only disaster in this country. Every corner, every junction is just disaster, disaster, and more disaster. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Conrad. Good night, Jeffrey. Good night, Corky.
Yes, sir. Good night.
I have a little bit of money. Let me see if I can make it sweet for you.
Yeah, make it quick too.
The organized structure of any organization which is a state-owned enterprise in the energy sector. Proper HSE. You see what your talk said and say that the HSE people say there was no valve to close up or nothing could have do it? So how they could have pumped out the water to get the people out on the line? And the autopsy showed that the people died Monday. So tell Piper and Mohammed and Newman George is a murder scene now because they kept the line and tell the Coast Guard who point the gun at the people that they are all accessory to state murder, right? And if people want to talk that you see health and safety is the company they're dealing with is not no monkey pants company. Then people do work all over the place at international standards, right? And Piper know well what he did. And that, let me see how long they'll keep security for. And tell Stuart Young, the evidence is out there, and stop trying to protect Newman George and Mohammed and Piper. Because the truth, and they will get the statement. And the police supposed to be there on the scene, take our police report. And they'll do it yet. I want to see what they'll do it. Have a nice night.
Thank you. Well. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr. Robert.
How are you, sir?
All right, Santa Cruz took it out of my hands, man. Santa Cruz couldn't see better.
Santa Cruz has been on the jaw quicker.
Yeah, now, let me tell you something. You see that Shama, who is the chairman of that committee?
Yeah.
I mean, according to me, that guy here, right, just stepped down. How you going to, man, what they did to this man father, Sat Maharaj?
Yeah.
Sat Shama. What is the Sat Shama? What they, man, they send that man to his grave. A very, very sad man. They run the man, they say all kind of thing about him. This guy they call Umbala Joseph, I'll never forget George Umbala Joseph.
Yeah.
That shot the guy for stealing something in the supermarket, he killed a man. He was the man behind that. And he was beating up the crowd and saying, Sachama have to go, and this and that, we'll impeach him and we'll see he go, and this and that. And they did that to your father. They run the man out of it and actually kill him and all put him on all kind of house arrest, all kind of thing. And you go and take in chairmanship. I mean, the boy's not a chef shaman, he's a bright lawyer. And he chose Stuart Young. When Stuart Young came and offered him, he said, boy, I have the experience with this energy thing. Don't say, don't worry about that. We just want somebody with a firm hand to guide the committee. And he take that. I mean, he ain't no hungry man. He can afford to say, man, I only keep that. When you think about what they did to my father, he was a little fella at the time. He was small. Maybe he was about 6 or 7 or somewhere around there. But I'm sure he knew his parents maybe told him, his mother, his father maybe told him what they did to the father. And he couldn't and taking that. But the parents of them so wicked. They want to put our Indian as a chairman for people to say, well, we're not a biased government, and we see how we feel.
Yeah.
We love everybody and this and that.
Yes, man.
But they don't understand the play because there's more Indians that drunk in this issue, so they want to make the public show that we is a good government, we ain't biased and we ain't this. But, man.
Play the game, man. Play the game.
The Roberts, them fellas, this will be bitter, boy.
Brother.
But I still think it's shot. Sure Shama, you should ring his ears and say, boy, you see me, I ain't want that to step it down. But, I mean, if you understand nothing wrong, he's a right young man, and if he believes that by leading the committee, he will. But it's all right, but I know, and a lot of older heads like me, who know what they did to that man, a brilliant Chief Justice.
Chief Justice he was, yeah.
Brilliant man. He wasn't no skull, nothing at all. And they destroyed that man and sent him to his grave in grief, boy. They would have to pay for it, Mr. Robert.
Must.
Listen.
Thank you, brother. Hey, this man bring back memories, boy. I remember that whole scenario with Satchama, you know. Koki. Boy, it's games, political bias, political wickedness. Welcome, caller.
Good night again.
Yeah.
Tell me something. The head of Rowley's lawyer is the head of which company? The AV Drilling?
No, he's the head of Trinidad Holdings Limited. That is Heritage and those companies.
Heritage.
Yeah.
And his wife is the Speaker of the House, right?
No. The Newman George, who is the head of Paria, his wife is the Speaker of the House.
Of the House. You see how they go in circles, and I just fully contract on them going in circles. You understand? Amongst the Santa Cruz man, with the 10th City Savannah, you know the Santa Cruz man, and the Spanish and them by, you understand? That's how everything going, just in a circle, and we and the people catching the tail outside here. You understand? But this something sounding fishy because I want to know how come they didn't shut down that valve. Because if everything was electronic and it took 3 hours before the first man went and saved the first diver, right? So they couldn't shut down that vacuum or that valve or what was sucking in the water or whatever is electronic.
Well, we'll wait and see how that works, scholar. We'll wait and see how it develops.
It's a lot of unanswered questions.
Of course.
But they have to go. This government have to go. You understand?
Thank you, caller.
Have to wake up people and continue campaigning amongst your fellow citizens, your people at work, your people you travel with, wherever you go. Campaign, keep educating the people. You understand? And as I told you, Victor, Anil they need to get some leaflets out with these things that they keep coming on the other station with. You understand? Get the leaflets out, explaining these things to the people. If 100 people, if 1,000 people give $1, that is $1,000. If 50,000 people give $1, that is $50,000. You understand? We could do it. We could get the mics out. We could get the message out. We have to get up. We have to have a proper organization, you know, and get this thing going properly, you know. We can't depend on certain people and in certain places. You understand? I know you done working already, and as I tell you, we don't want them to interfere with that land in Curab, from Southern Main Road coming back to by Uriah Butler there, no, by Tech there, no. They want to do all that land and
housing scheme.
Housing. You see how they fill in all the places there. In Mount Hope there, on the left hand side when you're going up the main road. Right, but you see when they give one family, I know of a family, right? The mother got a house, the daughter got a house, the grandchildren, 5 houses in one P&M family. You understand? 5 houses in one HEC houses in one P&M. You think them voting for anybody else?
That is how the gameplay call. But thanks for your contribution.
But we want to appeal to them. Take the houses, take everything you're getting, and vote them out.
Thanks for your contribution.
Yeah, man. Take care.
Yeah.
Take it and vote them out.
Vote them out, man. When you're voting, vote them out. Right. Now we take the break, Cocky, and we will come right back. And from there we'll go. We want to take this to a different level. I have a secret to give me Santa Cruz and other people. I'll give them that secret just around 8 o'clock. Yeah, so take the break now and we'll come back.
My parents' generation grew up with Royal Castle. From the first restaurant in 1968, when that distinctive, tempting aroma hit the air, they just couldn't resist. And like never before, fried chicken with a special blend of local seasonings and a one-of-a-kind flavor down to the bone. Today, Royal Castle still have that same delicious taste, and I love it too. The kids can't resist it either. Plus, they have more to enjoy. For me, the castle is more than just nice food. It's we own, part of me and you, and is the real flavor of TNT.
Sport is in trouble. What can be done to save sports in TNT? Join host Gordon Pear on Sports Insight every Monday and Wednesday on MCTV from 4:30 p.m. as he identifies the problems, look for solutions, and points the way forward. Sports Insight, where we talk to the coaches, athletes, administrators, and of course, you, the fans, as we bring positive change through sport.
Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
Eddie's Pharmacy Limited, we have a selection of all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs to complement your wellness. Every product we carry is vetted and approved by our pharmacists who will be happy to assist you. With branches at C3 Mall inside JTA Supermarket, 1135 SS Erin Road in Pinal, and 54 Rocha Douglas Road in Barrackpore. We offer services such as blood pressure testing, blood sugar testing, cholesterol testing, and also offer a wide variety of pregnancy test kits. We accept most major health insurances. For further information, contact Eddie's Pharmacy at any of our 3 branches. C3 Mall, contact number 228-4990, 54 Rocha Douglas Road in Barrackpore at 654-2655. Or SS Erin Road in Pinal, 647-0778, Eddie's Pharmacy Limited.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Blackrock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Blackrock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Join me, Anthony Jules, on Late Nights with Jules, only on MCTV. New guests every week, activity, games, hot topics, a lot of discussions. You don't want to miss it. Tune in and join me only on MCTV, 9 p.m. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
Calling every human.
douglAR Radio is now on U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. with Anil Roberts. Bringing you the facts on politics and up-to-date information. Also taking your calls on 218-7762. douglAR Radio on U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Get ready for the revolution. Come on, what you say?
Sponsored by Royal Castle.
What goes in is a local something that makes it all taste better. It's the flavor of our culture. Come from here, come from there, and everywhere. It's the special flavor that's made to savor at the Royal Castle. Welcome the Royal Castle. Royal Castle. Flavor to the bone. Royal Castle. Taste the very own. Royal Castle is the local something that makes it all taste better. Taste the unique flavor of our culture at Royal Castle.
Welcome back. At this time, I want to big up a posse from in Brian Toby Chase.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we want to big up that team up there. You know, your name just slipped me again. You remember your name?
What, the
youth
short man?
yeah.
Short. I cannot forget your name there.
Cocky, all the man there while the advertisement going on. And you come back to me here now.
That the guy that's making sure everything in place.
Yeah. And that name just gone from my head, yes. But I bigging up Taxi and the rest of the crew up there. Right, we bigging up everybody, those who responsible for that, all the different assistants with that house that is being constructed in Brian Toby Trees for the 3 children. We want to say thank you, a special thanks to you for your support in every way possible. Welcome, caller.
Hello.
Welcome, caller. Good night.
Good night.
Happy
I am
happy
calling
Women's
from
Day.
Canada. I'd like to say a few things to Victor.
Yes.
Victor,
Yeah.
I wish you all the best in your studies. And
Thank you.
And I want him to have the best, and I want to see him walk down those steps. Well, good night to Jeffrey and also to Corky.
Yeah.
I'd like to also extend my condolences to the family of the 4 divers who lost their lives. I wouldn't say who lost their lives, who was murdered, because these guys were alive until Monday. So you know what? They bring 3 people up before. They had to leave 1 behind because dead men tell no tales. So understand that. Dead men tell no tales, which means that they couldn't bring the 4th one up until it was certain.
Wow.
I honestly believe that's what happened. Dead men tell no tales. They make sure they were all dead. Because these guys were alive until Monday.
Wow.
So, you know what? They bring 3 people up before. They had to leave 1 behind.
All right, so thank you, Canada.
Thank you.
Okay, and
bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you for your call. And happy International Women's Day to you also, Miss Canada. Right, Corky. Let me tell you how clever this Skeet Rowley. Rowley's a clever politician. Rowley is a smart politician. But Rowley is not a good representative. People don't understand what is happening in this country yet, you know, Corky. People so blinded by distraction that they have not seen the strategy that Keith Rowley put in place in this country. They have not seen. Take it. Welcome, caller.
Hello.
Welcome, caller. Good night.
Yeah, good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
About 2 weeks, telling about the road in Dantrester, with no ambulance, no police, no water, truck-borne water, no even self somebody house on fire, the fire plant cannot pass. And I'll let it take my number and hear from again.
What trace it is?
Dantrester Tudroad.
Oh, Tudroad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to come and have a look, you know.
When so might be good for you.
Just now. Take my number now, 316-4468. 316-4468.
Okay, thank you.
Call me, right? And we're going to try to make some arrangement because these days we kind of up in Brian Toby Trees trying to get our house under control.
Okay, thank you.
Right, but call me. Yeah. Right. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Okay, I'm calling. Are you all aware that Dr. Keith Rowley have an engineering firm with his brother where he resigned from?
No, I am not aware.
Okay. That is what he got through the BP contract. And when BP was coming to Trinidad, and they had sent their contract, this is inside information I got from somebody in Texas.
So, caller,
I got
I'll give
it
you
about 12 years ago.
I'll give you a number. I'll give you a number to call. I'll give you my number to call. We'll have this discussion off air.
Okay, I want to get a pen.
Yeah,
Hold
get,
on a minute.
yeah, get a pen. I'm waiting for you.
Jacqueline, where is Pizarro? Yeah. Okay, Patel here.
Ready?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
316.
What is it?
316.
216?
No.
You're breaking up a little on there.
316.
316.
4468.
68. Okay, is 868
4468. 4468.
No. I'm calling international, the code.
The code will be 1868.
9. What is 9?
1868.
186868. Okay. 18686. Okay.
No,
okay,
no.
I'm calling international.
No, hear me again. 1868.
Oh, okay, the reverse.
Right.
868. 868. Okay. Okay, I'll call you back now.
No, you can't call me now.
Money will run out on night.
No, you can't call me now on the radio station now. You can call me tomorrow, please, God.
Okay, I will.
Thanks, God. Cocky.
Yeah.
Right, come back to the point. People have not seen what Keith Rowley have established in this country. Jeffrey, Keith Christopher Rowley have placed people in strategic positions in this country that it is almost impossible for anything to happen in this country without Keith Rowley knowing or without Keith Rowley having a say.
Yeah.
Almost impossible. Welcome, caller.
Oh, a pleasant good night. Hear what, Mr. Victor. Do you ever do a research on a political hitman?
No.
tried and see which part our governance system is about. Thank you. Good night.
All right, thank you.
Political
Yeah. Brother, in this country, this government, they have their hands in everything in this country. Every office in this country of importance, this government implant someone. And that is a clever dictator. A very clever dictator will implant one of his person in every institution. In other words, nothing happened without that dictator knowing. And not only implant, but a dictator also kidnap other major institutions simply by way of not allowing transparency, one, not allowing individuals to be cleared of allegations. So what happened is that you keep them with the allegations over their head. And when that happens, you have the authority over them to shift the move as you please.
All right.
Added to that, we'll take it after. Welcome, caller.
This fella's young. Good night.
Good night, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, good night.
Hey, Jeffy.
Yes, good night, good night.
What's going on, big brother? Listen now, I had a laugh when I was just thinking this. Watch me. If it is a man and a woman living in a house, and the fella call the police and say, hey boy, come here, my girl dead. And he say, what happened? Well, it looked like she fall down the stairs and she dead. Right? She fall down. Right? Wait till the police go and say, the police go and say, alright, wait, she fall down, alright, you go ahead and, alright, I'll go ahead and see what you think. My condolences. The police go and say that?
Investigation.
No, it's investigation. So when it is something serious, especially something that come out in the public domain as unclear, like what it went on at Paria.
Right.
Especially from day one, when it is fellas fall, yeah, this is that. The police should have been present.
Must. And that is where my problem like, Ola. Go ahead, make your point.
Yeah. And the police should have been present, and I will call back.
All right, no problem.
At least our police should be there when they're doing the investigation.
Jeffrey, I am
Police should be on the panel.
now a kindergarten in relation to law, right? I'm the kindergarten stage, but I am saying, Jeffrey, that you cannot tell me that something as this happened, where 4 people, forget the amount, could be 5, 10, 1, but there is so much uncertainties and so much information that doesn't make sense that come out of that situation. Right, take the call. Welcome, caller.
Yeah. So what the police go in and tell them, all right, hey, so them 4 fellas fall down, all right, well, I'll go ahead now. If all they say is nothing, all they say is nothing, I'll go ahead and bury them. That is what the police telling me. If it's nothing, why does the government have to go so far to put a committee in place to investigate?
Right.
This is something so serious, and the police at Trinidad and Tobago, if the police had the capacity to investigate what went on at AV Oil and make significant leads, why does a matter like this that involves injury and the loss of life and so on, why does the police cannot get involved? And that is the burning question amongst the citizenry. And to touch on the position where you took, it's a position, what's shipping is I talking? To touch on the thing where you say about the Prime Minister and putting persons in specific role, this kind of sleeper cell all over your turn. If you want to name him in wrongdoing, you have somebody in place, whether it's somebody, some high school friend, somebody secondary school friend from down the line, the preschool friend who the pitch marble with one day and they forget they're going back and find him and all kind of. That's typical of dictatorship, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
And it is, and in our perspective, we need to look at it as that guy is dangerous because he is prepared not to, as they say, you know, when you're there and you don't lie down, you know what I mean? He prepared to not go down. He prepared to put up a fight, put up a resistance in any form. You know what I mean? And back to this guy Stuart Young, I give you a little joke about that fella. Stuart Young had a meeting with Mondelo, talk about the Delcy Rodriguez, talk about the sanction jet, but come and tell us that no breach of treaty was spoken about. So you talk about Delcy, you talk about the plane, what you talk about, if the plane has enough fuel, was she drink on the plane? No. The sanctions would have had to come out, the breach of treaty would have had to be spoken about, but because probably in the conversation the word breach never come up, you understand? He will use that as an opportunity to paint his narrative to the public. You understand? And he will be right to do so because the word breach probably didn't come up. But they would have spoken about it in a different manner. That is the fella that you're dealing with. Deceptive. You don't like people to call him a liar. But he's deceptive. And he plays games with semantics. You know what I mean? You can, if you read that last release from Paria in Stuart Young tone, it does make a little bit more sense. You know what I mean? Locked on and listening.
Thank you, brother. And this caller couldn't be more accurate with the point. And I'm vexed I interrupt myself to take this call. Because that is what happened. This Keith Rowley, he have placed people in strategic positions. Everywhere you check something, everywhere that have a bacchanal, there is somebody who went to school with, somebody who is a lawyer, somebody who is a golfer, some woman who is this, some woman who is that, something. And I cannot, for all the tea in China, I cannot understand how the country is not seeing what is happening. I cannot understand how people not rebelling against what is taking place in this country. And I cannot help but say it. I am saying that if quarter of what is happening now was under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Rome would have burned. Jeffrey, Rome would have burned. This government have created the most amount of uncertainty, the most amount of mischief, the most amount of confusion, the most amount of nepotism, and yet the people of this country sit and accept what is happening. And I refuse to believe. Yeah, go ahead. Welcome, caller.
Good evening again, Cascadia.
Yeah, Cascade.
This is the boiling pot. This month in the 1970 was the boiling to come to the 21st of April 1970. This month. But it have an organization like they go on to sleep or the PNM buy them out. I want to know like the PNM buy them out. Them silent and so much corruption and decadency going on in the place and them like they go on to sleep, boy. Where my black people from that 70?
They ain't sleep,
not
brother.
Not a voice node, not a funeral node.
Brother, they're not sleeping. The love of money is the root of evil. The love of the dollar.
Yeah, man. They better watch this because evilness begin at 6 o'clock on the door, you know. Evilness begin at 6 o'clock on the door, you know. You see, between daylight and darkness, then it's really PNM and they sit down and start to plan the mischief. I tell all of these people campaigning in the area here already, you know.
Yeah.
These people campaigning in the area are Sentence, Cascade, Hololo, Leon Hill, Belmont Valley Road and the Monrepo area. All of this fall under the Port of Spain, Lavantil area. These people campaigning already, you know. We mustn't find ourselves asleep. These fellas, I tell you, as nightfall, the evil come up on the land like moss up from down at the bottom of the water. Yeah, watch moss when evening coming, the moss just come on the top of the water, and by 6 o'clock in the morning, it gone back down. What's that in any pool with mosses, and you go see what happening? These people and them, wicked. Wicked. The PNM, I know them. Nobody can tell me about the PNM, Nobody can tell me. This is why I investigating the money. The money with it deliberately stop the road and have our people slipping and sliding going up a track where the government acquired for so many years since 1950 that was obvious, and acquired as a road reserve, and up till now you taking people vote. Mr. Stuart Young, careful, boy. Careful in this cascade area. You feel cascade easy.
Thank
you
you,
feel
Cascade.
cascade easy. We not easy, Take care.
Thank you, my brother. Right, so here it is. Archie, how things in the studio? Archie went last. Nah, I'm going to do this different.
Right.
I'm going to do this different, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you ever dream about a secret meeting?
Nah, I never dream of no secret meeting.
You ever think about a secret meeting, Jeffrey?
Well, what I'm going to say,
let me help you.
You put me on the spot here.
Let me help you. Don't think too far. Don't think. A secret meeting that you could dream about with some individuals who was former associates Archie, I want to ask you some questions in the studio there. I know you're quite down in the studio. I want to put Jeffrey on the spot, so asking you, Archie, asking you these questions. Take this call and then I will talk. Welcome, caller.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
How are you, sir?
Good.
Well, I just called to say we are going very good in Tobago here, so we have no complaints.
Not a problem.
Huh?
Not a problem, that's fine.
We just don't want to keep Rowley back in Tobago. Or keep him in Trinidad.
Now we want him either.
Yeah, we're very good with the chief just with Paria over here. We're very good with Paria.
But you still have two Rowley people over there, man.
All right.
You still have two Rowley people across there.
Okay.
You have Webster Roy on one side.
Oh, okay.
So what you doing with them? You ain't sending them to meet Rowley? I call her. Thanks for your call. Archie, when last you hear about Gideon Hanuman Singh, boy? When last you hear about that fella? When last you hear about Botiwari? When last you hear about Vasan Bharat? When last you hear about Devat Maharaj? A dreaming a secret meeting. A dreaming a secret meeting. Actually, when last you hear about them fellas and them boy? It has some other names. I'll leave it sleeping for now. I ain't dream it yet. I'll leave the rest names for now. But I want to say something here today. You see the love of P&M money? When you hear former UNC members love P&M money, they will do anything and everything. All you hear what I'm saying? When you hear some of them so-called UNC members who love P&M money, you could buy them for anything, you could sell them for nothing. That is what the love of money do to people character. They become a nobody because of money. Added to that, anywhere the breeze blow the dollar, they like hung dog behind a guti. The breeze could blow the dollar deep in the ocean. Boy, they diving for that.
Wow.
They diving for that, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, let me tell you something here now.
So they not no moral standing then.
No standing. And you see, Kamla Prasad Bisesa did the right thing to get rid of them, because let me tell you something. When you hear people love money, the book says the root are not some evil, you know, all evil. Just imagine big men, just imagine, Jeffrey, big men selling the soul for a P&M dollar and strategizing to get into the marginal seats to fight an election where very soon they will be formalizing a political entity. But are putting the country on notice. Are putting the country on notice. You see, there is some individuals that will sell mommy and daddy for 50 cents.
50 cents.
50 cents. A bob a piece. You hear what I tell you, brother? There is some people who hungry and thirsty for political power, that they will sell mommy and daddy for a bob a piece. Listen what I'm saying here tonight, you know. Political power that individuals will make any form of sacrifice it is the most deadliest kind of behavior that one could express in society. When a man could sell the future of his children and his grandchildren for a few penny that could never last. You see, there is plenty people who have not yet learned that a man integrity have no price.
Yeah.
That a man integrity is value more than the treasury in this country.
Yeah.
And until people understand that you have to put aside that rotten, selfish, greedy behavior as human being, is until we will betray our race, our culture, and our country together with our family. That is how deadly some people is in this country. Jeffrey, there was a secret meeting last Sunday. There was a secret meeting last Sunday down in the Valsain area.
In the Valsain area.
Making it plain.
You real dream that, man.
Boy, you could tell me about dream. In the Valsain area. And I say tonight, ladies and gentlemen, watch out, my children. Watch out, my children. This is a bunch of individuals who don't want to powder your face, but they will bring shame and disgrace to this human race. That is this bunch of individuals who I am speaking about. This is where we are today. I am calling on the citizens of this country to reject any and every politician who do not have your interests first and foremost, who do not have your interests at heart. And I will tell you how to make them out. It is easy to make them out. Welcome, caller.
This is Cascade here.
Yeah, Cascade.
Yeah. Under the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, there is a thing like prisoner. There's a thing called prisoner of war. And I say my heart goes out to a sister that lost her life in the 1970, fighting for black women rights. Fighting for black women rights in Trinidad and Tobago, murdered by the same PNM government, Beverly Jones. You hear? My heart goes out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cascade. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a particular type of behavior that these individuals demonstrate. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. And how are you?
I'm okay. I like to say, just talk about the Bob and thing, right? The money.
Yeah.
It reminds me how Joseph's brothers sold him out. You know?
Right.
And that don't make sense. They cannot sold people's lives for property. You know?
Yeah.
And slavery and all these kind of things. And I agree with you 106%.
All right, Miss Kelly Village. Village.
Yes, and I like to say to all the women of Trinidad and Tobago, a very happy International Women's Day today, and may the Lord continue to bless us all as women, and we are working very hard as a woman. You know, we working hard like Mrs. Kamla Bisasa. Right. Because she's the boss, right?
Of course.
Yes, she always will be the boss for Trinidad and Tobago.
All right.
Right.
Thank
and
you very
Rowley
much.
coming out like a thief in the night. And you know the Bible says that.
Of course. The Bible speaks about a thief in the night.
Yeah, thief in the night. Well, I know all them things because I was a former Sunday school
Right.
teacher, right? So I know all them kind of things. I study by the Bible a lot.
And something again I wanted to say, but I can't remember right now.
All right, call back when you remember, no problem.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, when you hear individuals decide to conspire with a party like this PNM party to betray the race, to betray the culture, to betray people who once voted and supported them, they are the evil of this society. When you hear, ladies and gentlemen, that men who taste that political power, men who hold portfolios, men who ought to deliver, and to the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, they had to be removed. You have to understand that something have to be wrong. Welcome, caller.
I like to say again, is a twinkle of an eye, the thief coming in the night.
Right.
And the Bible teach all about them things.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, no, and we as human beings, we cannot soul anyone. Soul our body is nothing.
Right.
Ourselves low, because in the beginning God created us in His own image and likeness. And we are wrong to do if we doing them things, not me, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
Doing those wrong things, it is wrong, pleasing in the sight of the Lord. And we cannot practice them things, bribe people, sell people, and all this kind of thing. It is wrong through the eyes of the Lord.
Thank you very much, Kelly Village.
God bless you and be safe.
Thank you. Same to you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, caller.
Yeah, good evening, Cocky.
Cocky, step out a minute.
Yes, good evening to all you on the panel and thing. I wonder which one of them going, Bo and them go give their wife 2 boys. Bo and the other one, which one of them PNM minister? Them go give their wife, they done, you know what I mean? You take care, I enjoy the show. I enjoy them the Mataram.
Yes, that is what they are. Watch. When you hear people could sell the birthright to a party for a few dollars, boy. Welcome, caller. Caller, welcome. Hello. When you hear men, Jeffrey, could conspire with a government like this government. Welcome, caller.
President, good night.
Good night, sir.
Yes, it's me again. I will please call about those said names that you previously called. Again, and let the people wake up and understand. We all want to know and soak that inside the head. Good night.
Good night. So I am saying that when men could sell out the soul,
yeah,
because when you sell the nation out, you sell your soul out.
Yeah.
And when you could sell out your soul for the rotten dollar, I am saying that it's the worst stage that a human being could bring themselves to.
Yeah.
When you reach that stage, I would not consider you as a man ever again. Because men will stand for what is right. Men will stand for and with integrity.
Yeah.
You see, I don't take integrity lightly, because a man integrity decides his future. A man integrity is what will take him through this life. And I am saying that there is too many politicians without integrity. too many politicians without integrity. You cannot. I mean, how low would you bring yourself to collect a bag of money to formulate a party? I remember, and tomorrow I will bring that evidence, where Eric Williams had funded an opposition party to split the votes of the then party in order for the PNM to be victorious. That is strategy. But while it is strategy on Eric Williams' part, it is sickness on those who accept that money to split the vote to provide a win for Eric Williams. Take that call. Welcome, caller.
Quickly, gentlemen, we need to get the facts and the truth about Stuart Young and his stepdaughter. We want accountability and transparency, not only on that, in all the affairs of our country, or otherwise we fight is war. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. That is what Eric Williams did. And Eric Williams was quite successful. So it seems as though that we are at the point where history will repeat itself, because we now have a group of individuals who are willing to go down the same road back then for the love of money to ensure that the PNM remain in power. I will really want to see if the people of this country will accept that. I want to know if you people in this country will accept that going forward. There is dangerous people. And let me tell you something. I'm going to say something. Let me tell you something, Jeffrey. Going forward, I want you to always be aware, Jeffrey, that not all those who pat you on your back have your well-being at heart. Don't ever forget that. Especially in the political arena. You see, this political arena, let me tell you something, brother. Not all those who say well done, Jeffrey, mean well done. There are those who will sit and eat and drink with you and cut your throat from behind your back. They say, Jeffrey, you see that star pitch, watch up there. And as you raise your head, Jeffrey, is a different story. That is how dangerous this thing really is. And I will tell you why. The reason for that is when you have greedy, selfish, ambitious individual who will stop at nothing to ascertain power, you have to expect at any point in time, at any given time, that they're going to betray, and not only betray you, they will betray the people of the country. And this is what we are now experiencing, even by the sitting PNM. This sitting PNM, they are also cutting the throats of their supporters. They are also, Jeffrey, keeping their supporters at bay, while their supporters will have to go down into the dependency syndrome in order to survive. And when that happens, then and only then you will understand how wicked this PNM regime that now sits in office, how wicked they are. And not only them, there is also in the UNC, within the UNC, you will find some people behaving the same way. And let me tell you something, I will always raise the pertinent issues, because once there is room for growth and room for expansion, then we must not be afraid to raise the issues in order to correct them going forward. Welcome, caller.
Yes, me again. In the 1970s, it's the same thing Eric Williams do. with Badi Saga Maharaj to mash up the Black Power movement. He chose Badis to stop the demonstration before they could have reached Karoni. Yeah. He used the Indian man to split because he knew that was the two oppressed race that fighting him. He used that. And hear what he do again. A man who had an organization called the Black Panther Organization, man by the name of Alwyn Primus, take him from the square and him land in Karoni plant. He pulled Cuthbert Joseph from the Midza Enjak and give him to run Minister Education, just to mash up the organization who was fighting for black people rights through Trinidad and Tobago, where little children had 6 and 7 passes, had was to go wash tarts and iron in the white people kitchen. This way Eric Williams do to mash up that from black people getting a proper share in the employment. That was what a man do. When you're saying divide and rule, careful with we people, because they take in and chop your throat behind your back.
Thank you, Cascade. And Cascade, I want to say tonight, I'm saying tonight to the poor, the oppressed, and the downtrodden, I am telling you tonight that just as in the 70s, there were individuals who was fighting for your rights. Tonight, I am giving you the commitment that today in 2022, there is individuals who will fight for your rights. You see, the poor Indian people in this country and the poor African people in this country, I am telling you that we will fight for your rights in this country. We will fight for your rights. We will fight any and every politician who propose and who intend to trample upon the rights of the poor and the oppressed. We are saying no more in this country. Welcome, caller.
Good night.
Yes, sir.
Well said, Cascade. The slogans in 1970 were like Africans and Indians unite. Employment is a right, not a favor. You understand? They had such beautiful slogans, and Jack had really brought the people together. You understand? And if you watch some of the marches downtown, down Independence Square by South Key, by that British building, you will see the amount of people. The police just had to step aside and smile. You understand? They couldn't do nothing. And this one will be worse than that. You understand? We have to get rid of this government right now.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah, brother.
Thank you very much. Welcome, caller.
And this is what I'm talking about. If we don't stand up and unite them to race together, boy, we would eat the bread the devil need that Rowley want to make 6 o'clock for we to eat. But here what happened? You better pick back up my arms and I'm struggling, you know. Say it, you know, but I have to say it, you know. I'm not going down and face that with the last blood of my life, going down and suffer peacefully in this. Thank you.
All right, Cascade, take it easy.
Easy.
Welcome, caller.
Yes, it's Eva Fox here.
Yeah, Fox.
Now, Tobago, we have to call on all Tobagonians to get up and get PNM out of Tobago. William said one time in Tobago, Moria is a place for animals. William said Moria is a place for animals, and I don't see how some Tobagonians still voting for PNM. You have to stand up someday. Get rid of them. Get rid of Kojo. Get rid of Saroy from Tobago. We don't want no more PNM in Tobago. We don't want PNM in Tobago. Get rid of them. What we doing with them? We have to fight for our rights here, because if Trinidad, let me tell you something, Tobagonians. If Trinidad make the mistake and vote them macarams into power, and we have to have with 2 seats here and go our own way. We have to have with 2 seats here and go our own way, because we was with Grenada at one point in time. We wasn't with Trinidad. You have to understand your history in Tobago. Let we fight and move up Saroy and Kojo right now, and we go help Trinidad. Let us save Trinidad. It has too much of macaram rising, too much of 666 beast and the devil. Rowley only does wear black clothes, and that is a sign of the devil. Everything is from 12 midnight. All you get up and open all your eyes. Yeah. Time to stop what all you're doing and open all your eyes. We are in trouble. We are going on the road of no return. Trinidad and Tobago, the fox is talking to you. The fox is talking to Tobagonians too. Stop talking stupidness and fighting one another. This not doing with nothing, no good. Fighting one another. Fight the enemy. Thank you.
Thank you, Fox. Thank you. Boy, I am saying here tonight, you see tonight? I am saying tonight, Jeffrey, the rich people in this country don't care, you know. The rich people in this country don't care, Cocky. They have nothing. Let me take back that. They believe that they have nothing to lose.
Yeah, they believe
that they have nothing to lose. You know why? Because all is well with them. But wait, very soon. Welcome, caller.
Yes, good night.
Good night.
All them people who leave the party, all the Indians and them who in the PNM party, they think that the PNM really want them there? They think the Prime Minister want... No, he don't want them there. He just have them there. You understand? To damage their own people. You understand? And turn back and laugh at them. They leave the party too because they're weak and they're soft.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden it's just money because they want the devil bread to eat, and a lot of people in the country eating the devil's bread. So that is why you see they're not doing anything.
Correct.
You understand? They just sit down not doing anything because they're eating a food.
Correct.
And they're content with that little business. You understand? So things mightn't change because of the attitude. They have to change the attitude first before things change.
Correct.
Change it because they're happy with what they get in. You understand?
Yeah.
So nothing wouldn't happen. They have to change first. People have to change their behavior and their attitude first. If everybody wants to eat a food and eat a bread from the devil, that is what's going to go on in this country all the time. The Prime Minister only laughing at them. He don't really want them in the party. He just have them there to just damage their own people and to laugh at them. That is all.
Correct.
Have a good night.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. And it's the same thing that the Prime Minister is doing with a selective few. A selective few, they decide to eat because they tell themselves that they get cast out by Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and they tell themselves in order to spite and in order to settle that vendetta, they decide that they go eat that food and mash up the people of this country. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good night.
Yes, sir. Good night.
And good night, everybody.
Good night, sir.
I suppose who they were pressing on social media with all the fake pictures and everything.
All right.
I was trying to get onto you all for the longest while, and I can't get onto you. So I know if I look at arrange, make some kind of arrangement for me to meet you all or some kind of thing like that, so we can talk from and take it from there.
What area are you from?
Marval.
What fake pictures?
The fake pictures, all the fake things that they posted. You're using my phone. I lost my phone about almost just after 4 years when Mr. Embert and they get mugged. I did lost my phone about 3 weeks before he got mugged. And from since that time to now, they using my phone and posting about kind of fake things and oppressing me and all kind of things.
So why you never go and shut down the phone by
I tried to do that, but I can't remember the numbers of the phone because there's more than 3 numbers, cell phone numbers I had, and I can't remember all of them. I tried doing it many times and I never get through. So that's the phone they're using right now and oppressing me from since that time to now.
Wow.
And nobody helped me and doing me and helping me with nothing. I ain't get no investigation, nothing at all. And they only laugh and getting kicked off at it like if that was a joke. I fed up by everything else. I fed up by that.
All right, so caller, what you could do is call us when the program done, and we will take some information and we can see how we can move forward.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
All right. Wow.
Well, they go try all kind of thing, you know that.
Boy, brother, let me tell you something. These people have a vendetta. And let me tell you what they intend to do. And don't get the kicks, you know. Mm-hmm. Don't get the kicks. It's not them alone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's, brother, it's a team. There's a song. I wonder if I can remember how that song go. Its state is either I'm all the way in or all the way out.
All right.
Okay, you know that song? Yeah, but don't play it. It's either you're all the way in and all the way out. Let me tell you something. There's too many in between people.
All right.
Because now you and I travel through this country in different areas.
Mm-hmm.
People call us, we go, they complain. Some complain about the MP, some complain about the councillor, some complain about different things.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying that all the complaints are just, and I'm not saying that all the complaints is unjust.
Mm-hmm.
There will be some facts as well as it will have some fiction.
Yeah.
Right? Let you face it as it is. But Corky, one of the issues in this country is that for too long and for too many times we have people who is good pretenders.
Yeah.
Very, very good pretenders. They pretend that they care about the people of this country. They pretend that they care about country. But when the pressure come, that is when you just see the true colors. Or when the money come, well, that is the time you just see all the colors. You understand? And this is what happens on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
Both sides. Don't fool yourself. Both sides. This money thing affects people judgment because there is a lot of individuals who are not sincere in serving the people of this country.
Yeah.
They use the opportunity to serve themselves. They use the opportunity to enrich themselves. That is what they use the opportunity for. Welcome, caller.
A pleasant good night.
Yes, sir. Good night.
You know, I was just saying, we were just saying it. And you know what it put me deep in the thinking? You know, as a man follow this fella that calls Skippy. And I see when you were just saying that fella they called Skippy, he the bread that the devil needs. And he was a real nice fella, you know? Real nice fella he was.
Well,
thank you, caller.
Well, I have no facts. On that, caller, so I could only listen to your contribution. But caller, I want to tell you something. You might pinpoint an individual, but trust me, it's a whole organization of people who love and will do anything for that dollar. So don't just pick out one. It's plenty of them. And as I'm saying again, on both sides of the fence, there is persons who do not have the interest of you, the electorate, at heart. And I am saying, going forward in this political arena, we have to examine with a microscope as to see those who will stand and do what is required to ensure that the country's wealth comes through the rank and file in an equitable manner. That is what we must now do. Because you see, Arnold Roberts always say it, that election have consequence. The consequence that exists when you vote, it is a consequence that will improve your life or a consequence that will destroy your life. In this case, there is no middle ground. There is two extremes. It is either the consequence of your vote improve you, or the consequence of your vote destroy you. It have no place for middle ground. And for too long, the voting population in this country pretend that there is a middle ground. They pretend and imagine and want to hope that there is a middle ground. And a matter of fact, there is some politicians who create the ideology to you that there is a middle ground. All you have to do is to hold on, and in time that middle ground will be fertile. That is a blatant misrepresentation of the truth. There is no middle ground. It is either your vote build you or your vote destroy you. And that is as serious as it gets with voting in this country. You can no longer vote because you like Victor Roberts. Your vote must not be because you like me. Your vote must not be because you know me for a period of time. Your vote for me must be demonstrated by my actions before you vote. You must see a quality. You must see a behavior. You must see representation in an individual before that time of voting even come close. When you see people perform during an election, it is just to deceive. It is a deception to deceive your heart in believing that that person will represent and that person have your interest at heart. It cannot work that way. You must be able to see a fruit from a tree for you to know if that tree is a bearing tree or if that tree is barren. There is plenty beautiful trees that is just fit to be cut down and to be cast in the fire. Same with politicians. There is some politicians that need to be cast aside because their intention, it is not real, because they have a different ideology, a different purpose from what you believe. They come to you and they will encourage and they will assure you and they will use fancy words and fair speech only to deceive your hearts. And after you have placed them in office, you will realize that the phone number no longer work.
It ain't working.
You will realize that that number is now out of service. That is what it will be. How much time you voted for election, and after you conclude that exercise, you cannot see your representative. You cannot make contact until the next election call. Then They come marching down the road. Good morning. How you going? You know how things has go. I had you in mind, but you're busy. And no. No. A politician must work for you in season and out of season, because when he wants your vote, he comes in season and he comes out of season. And therefore, you have to ensure that going forward in this country, my brothers and my sisters, those of you who continue to suffer over the years, whether it be within the UNC or within the PNM, I am saying to you that going forward, we must take a different stand. We must take a different view of what is happening, what we have experienced over the years. No longer we must vote on race. No longer we must vote on the color or the texture of your head. We must vote for representation. We must vote for people who have demonstrated that they intend to work for you, not when an election is called, but before any election. They must demonstrate. You must be able to see. It comes like when you like a girl, or when you like a boy.
Nah.
It comes like when you like a girl for the boys, and it comes like when you like a boy for the girls. I'm gonna make it plain inside here. I better make it plain inside here. What happened is that you demonstrate beforehand. When you watch that girl, you use a period of time and observe that girl. You watch her behavior. Take the call. I won't forget where I am. Welcome, caller.
Mr. Victor.
Yes, sir.
I never forget we are a tune by Progress by King Austin by.
We coming to you. We have about 1 minute. We will get that tune.
All right.
What happens is that you observe that individual. Yes. And when you observe that individual, in your mind, you start to tell yourself that, well, this look as wife material. Yeah. This look as at something that I do not want to lose.
Yeah.
This look like something that I must hold close to my heart.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. It is the same way with the politicians. Let me tell you something. I know of some men who will fight. And if these men, by the will of God, if it's God's will that these men enter the office of the political arena, I know that after the first term, these men would not have to campaign to get back into office.
Yeah.
That is what we need in this country. We must have no campaign funds. When an individual deliver and work for his constituents, I am saying that that man would not need to solicit any funds to win our next election. I'm talking about volunteers from top to bottom, because the constituency know that this man is an action man, that this man is a deliverer, that this man paving the way to enhance the ability of the youths to bring a different standard of living to the community, that each and everyone will benefit from the resources of this country.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, caller.
Cascade again.
Cascade, you have half a minute.
This is what I want your tongue to understand. That he can't bring no trap. You see no trap to tie we up again. Because we too educated now within the community to bring a trap to tie we up and get we vote and go with it. Pa, call me. Pa, call me.
Okay, Cascade, you're out of here. night. Tomorrow, locked in 6:15. We'll be back.
The number has been disconnected.
Yeah.